Alright, so I want to start this video off right away by saying, if you know anything about this channel, you know we love Joe Goodberry. You know, man's awesome. He's a legendary. But I am going to be disagreeing with him today. So I want to go ahead and get this started right away by saying that, because all love, no hate. But my man said here, we say, why is Zach Taylor calling all of these quick passes to the flats? But what if the quarterback is supposed to throw it deep and decides not to? Now, the play he highlights right here, of course, is a play from the Texans game. So what we have here is we have a pass that ends up being a little simple, dink and dunk play right here to the flat, where Joe throws it right here. And then, of course, it ends up being, as you can see, a catch, and then it's incompletion. That was actually Mitchell Wilcox, and the throw was also a little bit late, so by the time he throws it, it's a little bit too high, and the linebacker is able to get there and get the sack. And what he's pointing out here is that there's a deep route on this play, right? And this is why I've said many times in my videos that this is not just a problem that is play calling's only problem, right? This is not why. That's why I've said this a million times. Play calling has never been the only problem. It's like a three-part problem that all combines together to be absolutely horrendous. Problem one is play calling. Problem two is offensive line. Problem three is, of course, Joe isn't perfect always, okay? You look at that Texans game, that interception in the end zone, I don't even know who he was throwing it to. I guess he was throwing it to Tyler Boyd, but even then, the ball was 0% chance that Tyler Boyd could get that ball when there was a cornerback standing in the way. Look at the interception when it was intended for, down the middle to Tanner Hudson. That thing was 4 yards over his head. There was no way he was going to be able to get that ball. So I will say, yes, Joe is not perfect, and there are some times where Joe will miss a pass. So, there is a three-part combination of a problem here, right? First off, you don't have the time to, make the reads and obviously take the time for guys to get open. Number two is the play calling for the most part. And number three, of course, is, again, Joe isn't perfect all the time. And again, I'll put even a fourth problem in there, is the fact that, again, with the play calling a little bit here, is that we're not doing play action correctly. We're not running the ball enough to set up the pass, to set up the run, to set up everything. Everything works in tandem with each other. Now, one thing I will say about this play, and again, I love Joe Goodberry, but it is very easy to sit here and watch a play after it happens and then look at it in a grand scheme of things and say, why didn't he throw it deep here? You clearly see he's open, and you do. If you watch this play and as it runs, you will see that, yes, Yoshi is wide open. I mean, he is booty butthole naked, as they would say right here. You can see that there is no safety help over top, and it is, of course, he is wide open. And instead of being, throwing it there, Joe takes all day to throw the ball, pocket collapses, and he checks it down to Mitchell Wilcox. And again, is that a mistake on Joe's part? Absolutely. Like, if you take every single play and you look at it, yes, there are certain plays that you could say that's Joe's fault completely. Both interceptions were on Joe there. This right here, not throwing to Yoshi for a pretty much a gimme touchdown, this is definitely on Joe. This is what I'm saying. Again, not every single quarterback is perfect. There's going to be plays where, this doesn't work, right? Or this doesn't, when you look at it at the end of the day, after the play's over, you're going to say, well, that was a big mistake. Yes, obviously. There's a million different times this is going to happen. But again, like I said, that's why I'm saying it's not just a problem of play calling. It's a combination of everything here, right? Because there's a crap ton of plays that are just quick passes to the flats, whether that's screen passes or other plays where there isn't a deeper route. And I'm sure, yes, you could find probably 7, 8, 9, 10 other plays that say, hey, this has a deep route in it. But you also got to keep in mind, Joe knows how this offensive line is struggling, right? So in his mind, he's thinking, okay, hike the ball. I want to get the ball out of my hands. Now, this play, he does take a little bit longer. But what he's thinking here is, okay, I got to worry about this offensive line because I might have to step up in his pocket and maneuver around. So with all those things being consideration, yes, he's making his reads. But again, if he's not looking at Yoshi on this play, now in this play, it looks like he's looking at Yoshi, but what I think he's looking at actually is Tyler Boyd right here cutting across to the left-hand side. And then what you see as the play expands, look at this. What he sees is he's thinking, probably in his head, I want Tyler Boyd. Bam. Tyler Boyd, the safety is coming down to cover Tyler Boyd. So now he's like, okay, next read. I want, Mitchell Wilcox. He throws it to Mitchell Wilcox. So I think really, again, yes, while this is a mistake on, Joe's part, right? At the end of the day, this is, he should have thrown the ball to Yoshi. Now, if he does throw it to Yoshi, is it very possible that the safety over here could see this? And again, keep in mind, look at what he's looking at. The safety right here is looking at Joe's eyes. He is, keeping an eye out to see what Joe's going to do. Now, again, you could say, well, he could throw the ball right here to Yoshi and then go after Yoshi here, but can the cornerback catch up to him? Like, these are all things that, when we're non-football players or non-quarterbacks that we don't really think about / know, that, the all things you have to take into consideration. Well, yes, you could say, in a perfect world, no. He's just going to throw it 70 yards down the field, which already, by the way, is difficult to do. To chuck that up deep, we have seen many times. Look at the game versus, what was it, the Bills game, where Jamar Chase got hurt. Joe threw that 60, 70 yards. Well, not 60, 70 yards, but he threw a deep pass in that game. And what ended up happening? He underthrew the ball, and it ended up being, Jamar Chase got hurt. So, you also got to take in consideration, you're saying that Joe can throw this ball right here, 15? Probably, honestly, you probably got to throw that to the 20 to hit him in stride, maybe 15. So that's like a 65, 70-yard throw. I mean, I'm sure Joe can do it, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have the biggest kid in the league, though. He doesn't have the biggest arm when it comes to, throwing it 55, 60 yards. I mean, obviously he can do it. He's done it before. He actually did it to Jamar Chase when that, that Week 2 game versus Baltimore? Yeah, Week 2 versus Baltimore. So, again, he can do it, don't get me wrong. It's just that all things taken consideration. And again, the line is collapsing a little bit, and then he's also probably thinking the safety help. I think on this play, what he's thinking is he wants Tyler Boyd, right? And I think that's his read. And he's reading to throw the ball here to Tyler Boyd, and he sees the safety coming down on the play. Does he miss the read to Yoshi? Absolutely. At the end of the day, again, like I said, he might think, hey, listen, I'm not going to be able to throw that ball 65 yards to that guy because there's a cornerback behind him and a safety that could go up top and get him. So maybe he's waiting. There's always different factors. At the end of the day, it's easy to kind of look at this play, 20/20 vision here and say, hey, look, I'm watching this play here, and clearly it shows that Joe is doing the wrong here, and he's not, you should have thrown it to here, but that's just how it is, man. That's always how it is after the game is over, after the play is over. You can always look back and say that, right? But unless you're a quarterback in the league, unless you are playing actual professional football and you're Joe Burrow, then yeah, it's always easier said that than, actually go about it. But again, like I said before, this is why play calling is not the only problem. Because this play right here, play calling is not the problem. That play right there is a good play. There's a couple good plays. I could probably list off 15, 20 good plays, throughout the last couple weeks that we called. And so it's not every single time. It's just inconsistency with the play calling. That's really what the problem is inconsistency of some of the play calling. Pocket when he hits his back foot, and pocket when he steps up to throw. And again, like I said, yes, obviously Yoshi is wide open deep. I think when he steps up to throw, his idea is to go with Tyler Boyd. But because his safety comes down, he goes with Mitchell Wilcox. And yes, in the end, is it a mistake? It is absolutely a mistake, okay? 1000% you can look at it and say, he should not have done this. He should have went to Yoshi. But again, you can always look back at every single play and say, oh, this guy's open. This guy was open. Why did you throw this guy? I talked about in my video, in my full breakdown of this game, I talked about how you look back at it, and I think it was the play where Joe steps up and gets sacked. Well, he didn't get sacked. He ended up getting 1 yard on a play. But when he steps up in the pocket and he tries to take off running, he could have checked it down to Drew Sample, or he could have checked it down to Travion Williams. Both of those guys would have gotten 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. But at the end of the day, he tries to take off running, he gets tackled. Look at it again and say, well, why didn't he check it down? That's so stupid. You should have checked it down. Yeah, in the hindsight 2020, when you're looking at after the play and saying, well, that's a mistake on his part. Yeah, it is. And that's just football. Everything is fast-paced. You got to keep in mind, these guys are making decisions within 10 seconds, 3 milliseconds, 2 milliseconds. When Joe steps up to take off running, it's 1, 2, sacked. Right? It's not like he could sit there and think. No, he's running and he's like, what do I do? Because think about it in this way, right? If he's going to throw it to that running back or the tight end, in his head, he has to remember, there might be a guy behind me. What if the guy behind me, I go to throw that ball, he's going to strip it from me, right? So he's like, I just got to take off running. Just got to take off running, see how many yards I can get. So, again, like I said, just kind of my thoughts and opinions. A little side note here, because I saw somebody comment down below in my video and said I should react to Nick Wright saying that the Chiefs are going to destroy us in Week 17. Nick Wright actually said today that he thinks he wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals beat the Ravens tomorrow. And so I'm just going to take that as a W by Nick Wright there. If he's going to always say that we're going to get destroyed by the Chiefs, that's just the fact of the matter is, let's be honest. He absolutely man-crushes the Chiefs every single 10 seconds of his life. So I'm not really going to get too much into the whole, the Chiefs. He said the Chiefs are going to win. Okay, we'll see Week 17. That's pretty much my only comeback on that one. Chiefs are a great team. I think we are a great team. And we're going to see Week 17 who wins that game in Burrowhead. It is what it is. Peace out, guys.